Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, senior editor for WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, in Canada, the big news is that the federal government is going to be taking over the Kinder Morgan pipeline between Edmonton and the Port of Vancouver. But internationally, I guess the big story is what's going on with Italy. Are they going to be in a position to pay their debts, or do they even want to pay it?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, Italy is a real problem. The main two parties that could form governments there both want to leave the euro, and the Italian president won't allow them to form governments. And so this has thrown the country into crisis. And so it's also thrown the euro into crisis, naturally. And Italy isn't the only country in trouble in Europe right now. Spain has its own political problems. And if you go around the world, Argentina is in a huge mess right now. So what we really have is geopolitical concerns driving the market. And you know what? This could last for a week or so. Generally, though, these things tend to work themselves out. One other thing that really worries the market, though, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, Deutsche Bank is way down today. It's down about 45% from levels it hit back in February, and that bank is falling apart so quickly, it has traders worried about a potential Bear Stearns moment. Now, personally, I think they would be saved by the European Central Bank, but just because I think they would be doesn't mean they have to be, and I bet a lot of traders are starting to price in that risk. And so that's why we're seeing money just pour into the U.S. dollar. I mean, it's at levels it hasn't been at since November of last year. It's just way up. And, one thing we haven't seen money pour into is gold, which is kind of interesting. That has not received a bid. So, it's flat. It's not down, but it's flat. But one thing that is up is cryptocurrencies. Very interesting. I mean, you can look across the board, and cryptocurrencies are doing very well today. So maybe people are turning to cryptos as a safe haven flight, or it could be completely unrelated. I'm not sure. But that's one thing that we have to put out there, and we have to consider right now. So gold seems to be going just flat lately. It goes up a little bit. It goes down a little bit. There's really no real excitement. I took profits on a silver stock today, Pan American Silver, because it had a problem at one of its mines. We still had a gain, so we exited. And I'm not looking to add any new precious metal stocks right away. I'd like to see some kind of catalyst before I do, or I'll see a great buying opportunity, which can always happen. The other thing that we sold today and took a nice gain on it was Canopy Growth, which was up 6% this morning when we sold it. It's now up about 3.5%, but we had a much larger gain because we'd owned it for a while. And things are moving around in the cannabis space without much explanation. I did see, though, that short interest in the cannabis space in Canada is at the highest level it's ever been at. So all it needs is a little good news to change things there, to really cause those shorts to cover and send those stocks ripping higher. I thought I would just take my gains because, I don't really feel strongly about this market, and I saw the futures looking terrible, and it turns out to be right. I mean, the markets have just gotten worse throughout the day. So take some gains if you have some. Let's see where this thing settles out. You might have a much better buying opportunity on all sorts of things if this thing goes down for the next week or so.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp. Inc., MGI on the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected high-grade gold, including 16.9 meters of 13.58 grams and 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program is planned to further evaluate previously identified subsurface high-grade gold mineralization. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, do you think millennials don't know what gold is, so they're so attracted to cryptocurrencies because they can run them out of their computer?
Yeah, I think that is part of it. Really, we have heard promises that gold's going to rally. I certainly thought gold was going to rally harder than it did, and we haven't seen that actually pan out, whereas cryptos, they go up, they go down. If you're looking for excitement, and let's face it, a lot of people are in the markets because they want excitement. Cryptos is a place where you're going to find it. You're going to find excitement. You can lose your shirt. There is that for sure. And I like investing in nice, solid things. That's one of the reasons I like precious metals. But, you can see the attraction of cryptos to a certain kind of investor. And yes, younger investors, because they know all about cryptos being on the computers and stuff, because, that's where half their life is spent. So to them, that actually seems like a viable thing to really invest in. And you know what? They might be right, or at least for certain cryptos. Certain cryptos look good, others not so good. It's really kind of a mixed bag. But there are other things that look good. Well, in fact, one thing that I want to mention is cotton went limit up today. In other words, it can't go any higher by the limits they have in place because of all the rain that got dumped on the southern U.S. It's actually bad for the cotton crop. And we're still seeing uranium, inch its way higher, inch after inch after inch. It's really looking like the groundwork for a tremendous rally in that industry. And that's one that I hope that my subscribers will really ride quite well.
Well, I saw an article that U.S. farmers are giving up on wheat because of low prices, so they're switching to cotton, even though they don't have the equipment to harvest it yet.
Yeah, and cotton looks like a crowded market. It's way up, but, at some points the shorts are going to have to come in because cotton is also called a weed. It's called a weed because it always beats the estimates, It's very hard to get a really poor cotton harvest because the weeds come back. And so even though people expect doom and gloom, cotton will find a way, and it will come back, and it'll be higher again. So, look for more volatility in that market. The ag space could actually be pretty volatile for reasons beyond what's growing on the ground. Because first we have a deal with China, and then we don't have a deal with China, and then we have another deal with China. And so that whole trade thing with China is really threatening to, upset the table, and agricultural goods are one of the big exports the U.S. has to China. So, that's just extra volatility in that market as well.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. A work program is planned for our Finland property that contains diamond-bearing kimberlite. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ADD, and the Frankfurt Exchange, symbol 82A1. Please visit our website at arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Sean Brodrick. Sean, the price of crude has dropped significantly in the last few days. What's happening in that space?
Yeah, well, we're having a real discussion about that at Weiss Ratings because some people think it's going much lower, and I think there's support right below at $65 per barrel. And so I'd expect a bounce there. In fact, I thought it was going to bounce today, except the market turned so bearishly red that everything got sold off. So even things that were looking for a bounce, which is my energy stocks earlier this morning, they just got dragged down with everything else. But like an old friend of mine on Wall Street used to say, when the paddy wagon comes along, it takes the good girls downtown along with the bad. But so just to wrap up on like oil, maybe we just hit a really important high. Seasonally, this is about the time of year it peaks. But then again, with everything going on with OPEC, all that's really needed to really light a fire under oil prices is for OPEC and Russia to come out and say, we talked about raising our production limits a bit because we thought prices were heading to 80, but they're not, so we aren't going to raise production limits. That would light a fire under the price of oil yet again, and that would send that soaring higher. But this is another thing. If you look at a chart of oil, it's really kind of a regular pattern. You really want to get those real sell-offs, buy them, and then ride them up and and just pull the ripcord when it really rips higher. And we might be coming to that in the stock market as well. One thing that I've been exploring is the idea of a rolling bear market where individual sectors sell off and then, slowly come back, and then another sector sells off and then slowly comes back. The one that's really selling off today in the U.S. is the financials. Now, this might be because of what's happening with the whole bond market, with like Deutsche Bank, stuff like that. Maybe that's what's driving it. But the financials look terrible today. So maybe the next week or so, it's really their turn to get hammered. Does that mean that there won't be good bargains in financials at the end of that? Of course there will be good bargains. And it's our job as investors to look at those stocks as they go lower and find the bargains among them that we're going to be able to buy at beaten down prices. And that'll be really good pickings when that time comes.
Well, with the two possible parties merging together in Italy, with them talking about getting rid of the euro, would that be a good thing for Italy to attract more tourism with a lower currency than the cost of the euro?
Well, the problem is and this could be just a perception problem. I don't mean to insult Italy in any way, but the perception is that the people who go into the Italian government are quite incompetent, and they cannot get things done. And so that sounds like a grand plan, but will they actually be able to accomplish that? The market's perception may be that they can't. Now, I think they could, and I think leaving the euro would make sense for countries like Italy, like Spain, like Greece. Leaving the euro would be a smart thing for them because it just crushes them to actually be in the eurozone. But, will they do it? That takes a lot of political willpower, which they might not have. And the thing is, does the market think they can do it? And the market may be betting that they don't have the skills to do that either. That may be one of the problems for Italy right now is there are people in the market looking at Italy and saying, you know what, this is going to get a whole lot worse because these guys do not know what they're doing. So we could be set up for a pleasant surprise because when the government turns out that they do know what they're doing, that's good. Then things can actually head higher from there. But it's a long time before we get to that point. It looks like Italy's in for some trouble for the foreseeable future.
Now, when we had the big meltdown in 2008, the banks that were in trouble were bailed out by the government. But now most places have legislation like the U.S. and Canada for bail-ins where the banks are allowed to dip into their customers' accounts to bail them out. Does Germany have the same kind of legislation to save the Deutsche Bank?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what they do in Germany, but yeah, they've just decided to stick it to the U.S. consumer one more different way, and so they have those bail-ins in place, That'll be really interesting. We'll have to see what happens there. One thing that I would like to mention, by the way, is I won't be talking to you in 2 weeks because I am going on a cruise in Europe. I'm going on the Money, Metals, and Mining cruise, where I'll be talking about gold and lithium and uranium and all the things that I normally like to talk about. And I might have a chance to go see a new mining project over in Portugal. So I'm just bringing that up there because, yeah, things look dire for the Eurozone right now. But you know what? This is just a storm that is going to pass. And so I think people should be taking some profits. That's what I did today. Writing it down, having some money set aside, and then wait for that buying opportunity because that buying opportunity will come. Europe is not going away. No matter what you hear from the doom and gloom crowd, it'll still be there. Some things might change. Maybe Italy will leave the Eurozone, though I think the odds actually favor inertia on that one, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Sean, I hope your cruise is not sponsored by the Italian head branch of Deutsche Bank.
Wouldn't that be awkward? No.
Thanks a lot for chatting with us.
That's sponsored by the Gold Report and just a whole lot of smart people. It'll be a great cruise, be a lot of fun, and be really interesting not only for the people who are on the cruise, but for me because I love to meet and talk to people. So that'll be good too.
Sean, thanks a lot for chatting with us.
Thanks very much.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, senior editor for WeissRatings.com. And what are the other sites that you're the senior editor for? Right.
EdelsenInstitute.com, which is where my Wealth Wave is published 3 times a week. And Wealth Supercycle is my monthly newsletter. So you can look for those things as well.
Once again, my guest has been Sean Brodrick. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. Check out our popular YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.